Live here. Okay, we
Oh,
are
I think,
live.
yeah.
As the clock strikes 7, the fight's alive. Inner circles here, where voices thrive. Turn on your screens, let the magic unfold. Listening and healing as stories are told. Come on, come on, this is your time. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. In a circle podcast where hearts unite. Sharing our truths, bringing hope to the light. Community strong, we're never alone. Together as one, we've created a home. With laughter and love, we break down the walls. No topics too tough, just heed the call. From mental health woes to justice we seek. Together we rise for the strong and the meek. A safe space for all, let's lift every voice. So join the conversation, let's set the tone. In a circle podcast where love is well known.
Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning. Hello, wherever you are watching us from. This is Tuesday, February 11th. We are back at you here at Inner Circle Podcast, where we bring you real, honest conversations about things that uplift, inform, and empower our community. I'm your host, Abe Kamara, and tonight we are going to be deep diving into a topic that is very, very important, but we will look in our community. Topic for tonight is mental health wellness and normalizing seeking help without shame. Again, mental health wellness and normalizing seeking help without shame. So we have some great men here trying to discuss this, right? It's something like we struggle with this in our community. Whether we're going through stuff, we just say we try to tough it out, try to say, I don't need help, and all those good things. But tonight we're going to do a deep dive, share some ideas, and just talk. So you can contribute to the conversation by putting a comment in, either putting a comment in the chat, or you can call our number 817-600-1525. Before we dive into the topic, as I say, I'm your host, Abe Kamara. We'll go around the room and introduce our panelists, and I will start with Peterson.
Good evening. This is Peterson from Chicago. Welcome to the show, and let's make it a conversation.
Titus.
Hello to everyone. Please like, share, follow the page. Let's talk, man. I'm excited for the evening. And thanks to everyone here tonight, especially our guy Stan Ford. Thanks for being here, brother. We appreciate you being here.
Yeah, Mel.
Good evening, everybody. This is Melvin Lionel Zia. What an interesting topic to kind of talk about in the month of February, mental health. And I think this is impacting a lot of our people and a lot of us as well. We want to hear from you. We want to learn from you. We want to kind of see and understand what you have out there that you can share to our community. We try to kind of bring information to our community. So if you're out there, you have information about this, come on. The little we have, we're going to share tonight. Welcome and participate. Thank you.
Yeah. Mel. And then tonight we have a very, very special panelist, a contributing panelist, from the great state of Tennessee. So, Stanford.
Well, good evening, everybody. Good evening, people in Radio Land. Welcome to this show, and thanks, you guys, for the invitation to be here tonight and just give my little one or two piece, as it relates to the topic of mental health and awareness and how should we go about seeking help and not being shameful about seeking help and wherever you are, just tune in, like, share, and drop your little comments and so we can discuss. And I'm so excited to be here, and so we can talk about it. And I also look forward to being here more and more, so that we can have better discussions.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you,
Stanford.
guys.
Well,
Yep.
folks, so you can, if you haven't been following us, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. You know, Sako, we are on YouTube. We are on all the social media platforms. You can follow us on Facebook. And wherever you get your podcast as well, we are also now on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So hey man, join the conversation. We are doing great things for our community. This is a community show. So please follow and contribute, and let's discuss. So guys, as I said, tonight's topic is mental health, wellness, and normalizing seeking help action. Mel, I'll kind of start with you. Why do you think it is so difficult in our community to just normalize mental health, right? It's something that we struggle with sometimes. It's just like, you know what, I need to tough it out. No matter what I'm going through, I will tough it out, right? We don't seek help. Why you think that is? That's something we struggle with in our community.
So one I would say the reason for that, to answer your question directly, is orientation. There are a
Mhm.
lot of things we are not exposed to. So coming over here, we feel, the way to deal with situation is not put yourself out there to avoid, stigma. A lot of us, once we think something is affecting us and we bring it out to talk about it, that fear of you being stigmatized and looked at as somebody who um is weak, right? It tends to have that influence. But I'll give you stats here. According to the World Health Organization, right? The
Mhm.
study was done like sometime last year. 1 in 4 individuals experienced mental health in their life. And then that number increased, it quadrupled when COVID-19 hit.
Mhm.
68% of people experienced mental health during the COVID pandemic. So the crisis, right? When we have crisis, it tends to come out more. So I think the lack of the lack of understanding and just the fear of being stigmatized. Once you put yourself out there or find somebody you can talk to about things that are impacting you. But in terms, this is very
Okay.
important to bring it
Okay.
out. It's prevailing so that you can kind of seek help or help to people that will help you seek information. So directly to answer your
Yeah.
question, Abe, is just the
Yeah.
lack of knowledge and then the
Mhm.
fear of being stigmatized. Just look at somebody who's weak.
Okay.
Softening is the
Yeah.
way we were trained and the way we were taught.
Okay. Stanford, though, I mean, it's like so many of us with social media, so many of our lives now is on social media, where people share everything. I mean, it's like when somebody cooking quesadilla in Philadelphia or in Nashville, right? You will see on Facebook or wherever. But if we are willing to share all of these things, why don't we share our vulnerability in terms of mental health? Why is it that we are so afraid to become vulnerable? I mean, just show our vulnerability. If I'm struggling with something, why do we struggle to seek help when these days we share so much on social media?
Yeah, thank you. But like my brother stated, right, is one major thing is just being stigmatized. But I'll say that first thing, you have to identify that there is a problem, that you do have some mental issues, some mental health issues. Once you can identify it, then it's kind of easier for you to like try to seek help, because help is everywhere
But how do you
when it
identify?
comes.
How do you identify? You are not a doctor. You are not a mental health doctor to identify. How do you identify it?
So how do you identify when we're talking about mental health, right? We're talking about coping with situations in our day-to-day lives,
Mm-hmm.
in our day-to-day settings,
Mm-hmm.
right? So take for example, some most of us from Africa, right? And the way we were brought up and we came to this country, there are things that happened to us back then
Yeah.
that is still impacting our lives negatively, even up to today's day. It's still impacting us negatively. And we
Mm-hmm.
came to this country, we come to white man land, and the white men tell you that when something happens, you have to talk it out, and it helps you when you go about talking it out. But because our community, like you said about stigmatization, we are being stigmatized. And you can just come to I can't come to you and tell you my personal issues, and then tomorrow before I look, it's out there.
Mm-hmm.
So if we talking about seeking help, right? We should seek professional help,
Okay.
not just talking to our friend or our brother or our sister or our family. Try to
Okay.
seek some professional help,
Okay.
you know.
Okay.
So, mhm.
Okay. Peterson, have you ever encountered someone, right? Or can you share a story where like someone that have mental health issue, but then they struggle with mental health, but hesitated. They didn't want to seek help at all. Have you ever encountered someone like that?
Yes, thank you for the question. And yes, I mean, in our daily lives, we usually have examples of people who are struggling with mental health,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes would just see the result of that unhealed, whether it's trauma or whatever they go through. We see the end result where they will end up either in violence to themselves or to others, or something bad will happen. Then that's the time we come out and say, "Oh man, mental health is real. Mental health is real." But when the person was struggling, the signs were there, but since we are not trained to say, "Oh, okay, this is mental health," and it's like, but Snooper just said, you need to identify first. I mean, if the person does not know that they have a mental health episode or something like that, there's no way
Mm-hmm.
that we can either gather around the person to seek help. So yes, I have seen that where it's either somebody in the community or a relative, and they will have like this blowout, and when they actually check them out into like a mental health ward, they say, oh, the person was having a mental breakdown. And there are many causes of it. Like even now with a lot of studies and things, they cannot pinpoint it to say, oh, this is exactly what the reason this is, because it's so prevalent in society right now. Anything can trigger somebody, and then we say, oh, the person is having a mental health breakdown. So yeah.
Okay. And tell us, though, what are some of the myths about folks not seeking therapy? Because like obviously, right, when you identify that you have mental health issue, the best thing is to seek help, and then the help we're talking about is therapy. But why folks? What are some of the myths about therapy? That
Well,
is.
I believe. Thank you for this topic. I believe black men especially, right? I want to
Mhm.
focus on us, especially
Okay.
as black men,
Okay.
and it looks so beautiful on here tonight. It's all black men over here discussing.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we've been conditioned
Mm.
to express mental health or seeking help with
Mm-hmm.
mental health
Mm-hmm.
as a sign of weakness. The
Mm-hmm.
man is brought up to shoulder everything basically that the world could throw at him, including what he faces within his his most inner space or his
Yeah.
home.
Yeah.
And we grew up around a lot of men, our fathers, our uncles, who never showed vulnerability, who never
Mm-hmm.
showed or expressed a sign of weakness,
Mm-hmm.
because they probably were also taught, they were taught that, that's for the other gender. The man is
Mm.
there to take everything and carry it on without complaining,
Okay.
and the only help that they probably knew were destructive to themselves or and
Mm-hmm.
even their families. So this is what we grew up with, right? A lot of us, most of us,
Okay.
this is how we were brought up. This is what we saw. This was our point of reference when we were
Okay.
coming up, and so it's now embedded into all most of us
Mm-hmm.
that is a sign of weakness. A man cannot even show emotions.
Mm.
A man cannot break down. A man cannot have mood swings. All those different symptoms, getting angry easily, having those
Good.
mood swings. You can't show that
Okay.
because we have been conditioned to understand that these are signs of weakness.
But how can we break that? How can we break that condition? How can we make clear that, hey man, like, seeking help or trying to be vulnerable, it's not a sign of weakness, it's not a sign of anything. It's just you trying to, be a normal human being. How can we change that?
By doing the first step is what we're doing right now.
Okay.
We are bringing awareness to ourselves and our community, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the first step. Just talking about it, and educating ourselves
Mm-hmm.
and our community that hey, this is it's okay to break down because you're a human, right? And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just focusing on man. I'm just being a little
Yeah,
selfish
yeah, 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 yeah.
because we probably are in the category where majority of us will rarely seek help
Mm.
for any type of mentalness in our lifespan. Again, because of how we've been conditioned.
Okay.
But talking about this, educating ourselves,
Mm.
our community, our
Mm.
neighborhood that this is okay, to break down. It's okay to seek professional help,
Yeah.
mental health. As soon as we hear this term in our community, the first
Mm.
thing that goes to our mind is, oh, he's crazy. And then the
Okay.
stigma and everything that our brothers have mentioned here come up,
Okay.
because of the lack of understanding, as our brother Mel said earlier. So
Okay.
talk about it, bringing awareness, um, uh, studying.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
These are ways
Okay.
to break that
Yeah. Well,
notion.
tonight, folks, we are discussing mental health, wellness, and normalizing seeking help without shame. Mental health, wellness, and normalizing seeking help without shame. So we hope you can contribute to the conversation, or you can call our number 817-600-1525. It's like this is a topic very, very important to our community. And we don't talk about it a lot. As started said, talking about it here on Inner Circle podcast, and sharing ideas, see how we can help one another. I think it's helpful. Mel, is it for us, right? Especially for the immigrant community and the men in the immigrant community, is it more of a challenge, right? Because hey, man, it's like the background we're from is like sometimes that you gotta toughen things up, right? You had to see men, especially like us from across the ocean, right? We from Africa or wherever, we struggle with those things, right? Is it more of a challenge for us compared to like someone who was born here and raised here? I mean, in the Western world.
Absolutely, it absolutely.
Mhm.
It's a challenge for us. Like we kind of, started with the introductory statement, because of lack of information and the
Mhm.
way we were oriented, right?
Mhm.
It came up to be men and just basically toughen up, men don't cry and those kind of things, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
Men don't express themselves. Sometimes it kind of remain. So yeah, that's what makes it a challenge for us as men,
Mhm.
especially as an immigrant, right? For immigrant men.
Mhm.
But again, when you kind of move from a different environment, different
Mhm.
culture, and
Mhm.
you immigrate into another country like America, that put these things out there and talk about them and have resources to
Mhm.
help us, you know, deal with these things so then we be better in the way we function, in the way we do things, so then we are not creating a dysfunctional structure of family. Because if you have that mental health, you don't deal with it, that's what's going to
Mhm.
happen. Then it becomes generational. so
Okay.
so 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 focusing on how can I help myself, getting information on how do I deal with this will be
Mhm.
very important. So yeah, directly to answer your question, it is a challenge for us. One, because of the way we are oriented. Two, men as a whole, especially immigrant men, that's how we were told. You got to
Okay.
toughen up. We got to be men. You got to be strong. And so that really kind of resonate with the way we act as
Mhm.
as 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 black folks, especially those from Africa.
Okay. Stanford. Again, like another dimension or another layer I want to add to that question is, someone from a war-torn country. Is it more of a challenge if you're coming from a war-torn country, right? You're coming from war, you might experience, it's like you might have seen a lot of horrible things. Is it more of a challenge for such a person, right? I mean, like Sam here talking about, you know, so many factors. But someone coming from a war-torn country or coming from somewhere where in they experience civil war or something, is it more of a challenge for them?
It is. It is. It is more of a challenge for us. Like we are from Liberia. We all were there, and 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 there were war. We all like some of us stayed there during the war. Some of us experienced the war. Some of us fled during the war, and and like we say that we saw things, right? The trauma, that mental trauma, it
Hmm.
stays in us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and like my brother said, we migrated over here,
Mm-hmm.
right, to this country where there's all help and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the way we were raised, the way we were brought up as men, we always were taught to swallow it, to
Mm-hmm.
man up.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell people, like I was discussing with Titus, like it's okay to not be okay.
Mm.
It is okay to not be okay
Okay.
because you as a man, it's okay to express your emotion. God put emotions in us.
Yeah.
You can express your emotion. It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
God gave it to us for a reason.
Yeah.
So it's okay to express it. But now if you hold it in, then when you get to a society where like life should be free, it's kind of difficult for you to get along. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of difficult for you to see yourself like getting along with the society, the new society that you find yourself in. Because here you grew up to tough it up. Like something hurts you, you're not supposed to say it. Say, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
you be a man. If you say it, I mean, you they consider you, they stigmatize you, call you names, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Mm-hmm.
it's tough. But for me, what I think is the name, the nomenclature of it, mental health, I think it should be probably changed in some way because that's that's something that's making a lot of people like afraid to seek help
Okay.
because of the nomenclature. Because
Yeah.
if, like you said, if you tell somebody, oh, this person has a mental health issue, they think that you're crazy.
Yeah.
But you're not crazy. Like,
Mm.
take for example, maybe you stood there and during the war and somebody slaughtered your dad right
Yeah.
in front of you.
Yeah.
That's not something that's gonna be erased after 5 years or 10 years.
Okay.
It's not something that's gonna be erased.
Sure.
So it's something that's gonna impact you forever.
Mm-hmm.
So when you come to this country like America or other or Western country, you try to seek help, try
Mm-hmm.
to talk about it. Like I
Mm-hmm.
said previously, seek professional help. So
Yeah.
you talk about it, and in our society, it's hard for us to talk about things. So
Okay.
for me, the more you talk about things, the better it is. It releases that stress,
Okay.
from off your mind.
Okay. But Peterson, if God, I mean, to stand for point, if God give us, emotion to express it, why is it so difficult for black men? Why is it? What is it about black men that is so difficult for us to express the emotion? Why is it so difficult, Peterson?
Yeah, so it's like what the other gentlemen have been saying. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to men in general, and especially black men, we are taught to suppress and hide our emotions. And yes, we are not robots. We're all given emotions, and we have ways of expressing it. But those ways of expressing your emotions, they are not encouraged from the time
Mm-hmm.
you are a little boy. If you are a child, and even if you have an older sister and something happens, if you come crying like, man up, you gotta be a man. Boys don't cry and stuff like that. You have to toughen up. So they built us in such a way that we become almost like emotionless.
Mm-hmm.
Because once you grow up that way, then it becomes more difficult for you to even express yourself when you get into a relationship, even if it's with a partner or dating, then
Mm-hmm.
you get to that point where they say, "Oh, he's so insensitive. He doesn't have any emotions because we're
Yeah.
taught to not express it."
Yeah.
And it gives us a lot of hard time because not only when it comes to the mental health aspect, but just in life and
Mm-hmm.
living like in a social environment, it
Mm-hmm.
becomes difficult for you because you don't know how to express those emotions, and they're all kept in. And uh, to give credit to black, we do a very good job of of keeping those emotions at bay,
Yeah.
because many times when we see like mass shootings or things that happen, it's not, these are people that most times they have access to the help, and
Yeah.
they were taught to express their emotions,
Yeah.
but it still gets the best of them. But those of
Okay.
us who were like, oh, do not express it, don't do this way, men do not cry, you don't yell, you have to keep a hold of your emotions. We are in a better place when to say that we don't express it in a negative way, but it still takes a toll on people. And
Mm,
like the brothers have been saying, we need to find a way to encourage other brothers to say, okay, it's okay to express it. Yes, it is baby steps. It's not somebody who grew up for 30 years not knowing how to express their emotions and just one day like, hey, this is how you go about it. No, it takes baby steps and it's a process.
okay. And tell us then, what are some signs, right? Like someone might be like, what are some of the signs, like especially in our community? What are some of the signs that someone might be experiencing mental health? I mean, there's like our man Stanford say, a man use big book, a man say nomenclature. You must change that nomenclature. You know what I mean? I struggle with that English word there because English is not my strength. You know what I mean? So that what a man say, you must
You
change
gotta
that
change
nomenclature,
it.
meaning like you must change your name. But what are some of the things, right? Like you might see like someone is experiencing mental health. What are some of the signs
You
you
know,
think, and
I'm not a.
especially in our community?
I don't. I don't supposed to be a mental health professional, but based on research, as I was saying earlier, being easily irritated. There are there are folks amongst us who, man, you're talking normal thing before you realize it, he from 0 to 100,
Mm,
just from having a conversation.
okay.
There are people like that right
Mm,
amongst us
mm,
that are showing these different type of symptoms. Other symptoms could just be focusing, having issues focusing. Other people just um socially withdraw. That's why folks who stay away
Isolation.
for a long time. It's
mm,
good. It's good that we built these different community groups, at least
mm,
that are uh, focused on checking on one another. Doing these welfare checks here and there. But those are just some of the symptoms. That
yeah.
you can maybe talk about it when you observe that with folks around you, friends, family, loved ones, and
Mm-hmm.
just deepen some conversations to get in there
Yeah.
into what's happening to them, what's going on in their minds. You never
Mm-hmm.
know. Some
Okay.
people just want to know that you care enough to listen, to understand, so that they can be able to be vulnerable and open up and talk to you about situations that's really heavy on their hearts.
Yeah.
Recently,
But
I read this story. I don't know. I think you guys probably saw that too. But there was this cardiologist who
mm-hmm.
he took his life.
Mm,
A cardiologist, man.
yeah. Yeah.
All those times, the dedication and hard work he spent in school,
Mm-hmm.
getting to where he got.
Yeah.
What do you think happened? What point was he at to the extent of considering to take his own life?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Considering all of the financial challenges, whatever it was, according to the story that the court was trying to take from him because of support, children's support, alimony, whatever it was, he
Yeah.
had to be at some point mentally to consider this is a medical professional
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm. Okay.
consider taking his own life.
Yeah.
You know,
Mel, yeah,
tragic.
Mel though, right? Is like Tadas mentioned, right? We have so many, especially again, I will focus kind of on our community, especially like the immigrant community. We have so many support groups, right? You might have, like my brother Stanford before we went live, we talk about United Brother, right? You have these different groups, right? It's like, but yes, still right, within these groups, are we sharing enough? Are we like amplifying such conversations, right? Or we just focus on the enjoyment aspect of it or other aspect of it, but are we really having serious conversation among these various groups that we have? I mean, every immigrant community you go to here, they have these various groups where in the socialize to get together. But are we really focusing on the right thing to amplify such conversation?
I will be biased here tonight. So these various groups you just mentioned, they are not trusted. You know.
Oh,
Yes,
mm,
yes, yes, yes. Why
they are
I
not
say that?
trusted.
Yes,
You
yes,
got to
yes,
elaborate on that. They are not
yes,
trusted.
yes,
What's going on with that?
But get
yes,
a
yes,
mention.
yes.
Get a mention.
Yes, why I'm saying that. Maybe I'll
Mhm.
be part of, for the purpose of this conversation, part of an organization, and be going through something that is, you know, causing problem for me, causing mental health for me, and
Mm,
I decide to talk to a brother within the organization, right?
Yeah.
Or
Mhm.
maybe he said these are a group of my friends. Let me
Mhm.
trust them and talk to them, right?
Right.
As soon as someone opens up the lack of maturity with individuals within these organizations
Mhm.
contributing to these things that I said, they are not trusted. They tend to put your story out there, talk to other people. When somebody trusts you and confide in you about something that bothering them,
Mhm.
especially something that mentally hindering their well-being,
Mhm.
that person trusts you. You gotta keep that within the confinement. Just don't let anybody know. If the person said don't let anybody know, keep that as is. So these are
Mhm.
some of the reasons why these organizations we have within
Mhm.
the Liberian community, a lot of individuals are going through these traumas that are
Mhm.
experiencing mental health. Don't communicate with them.
Mhm.
It happens a lot. You will just talk about something as little as my brother. It's not easy, man. I'm paying this X amount of money to, this so and so person, insurance support. And then before you know it, oh, that do pay insurance support. They tend to laugh at you. A lot of these organizations, I'm just using this as
Yeah,
an
yeah, yeah,
example.
yeah. No,
So
yeah.
That's true. That's true.
these are
Mhm.
the reasons why you see a lot of people withhold these things that bothering them. I'll give you one of my brothers. One of my
Mhm.
brothers
Mhm.
last year
Mhm.
died. All right.
Mhm.
I'm not going to
Mhm.
call his name. Cactus know who I'm talking about.
Mhm.
There were things that were bothering this young man. But
Mhm.
because of these organizations we have within the community that are not
Mhm.
trusted, you don't trust any of the guys to kind of break
Yeah.
this story.
Mhm.
There were a lot of things that happened. We got to know these things after this young man
After
died.
he was gone.
Mhm.
So these are the reasons you see people don't try to talk to people within the organization. So it's hard. But
So
what I would say to
yeah.
this,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
people should not be afraid to seek, like my brother said, Stanford said, to seek professional help. That
Mm.
professional help has a responsibility and he has an ethic that he or she has to follow. So seeking that to talk to this person to give you resources that you need and give you pieces of
Sure.
information that will help you navigate through that is
Yeah.
important. Our
Yeah.
community is
But
not the best when it
mm,
comes to these things.
okay. But though let's like so Stanford then let's like if we have these all of the organization again and we say so are we saying that, I mean those are not safe spaces that we can share these things because sometimes we spend most of our time with these groups, right? With folks in these groups, right? Especially like summertime, we go to the soccer field, we do things, we associate. So are we saying here tonight that our male, right, is like these are not safe spaces. You cannot trust anyone there, right? Because it's not safe.
Yeah, like the brother rightly said, right?
Mm-hmm.
So good thing is this platform that you guys have started, like I told you from the onset, is very good. And this is the starting point. So the more we talk about it, and in these groups, right, if we
Mm-hmm.
can have one individual in every group who like becomes a professional therapist,
Mm-hmm.
right, and they're a part of this group.
Mm-hmm.
Say for example our group, right? If we
Mm-hmm.
have one person who's a part of our group
Mm-hmm.
that's a professional, a mental health therapist,
Mm-hmm.
right, and somebody in that group is facing problems and
Mm-hmm.
they don't want to discuss it with, for example, titles or me, right,
Mm-hmm.
they know that this person in this group is a mental health therapist. Like my brother said, this person has an obligation because that's an oath they will take. So if
But can
you
you
go to
trust
that
them though?
person,
Right? Can you trust them, right? They are part of the organization, they are part of your group. Can you
because
trust
the
them?
reason you have to trust them, like my brother said, is their profession.
Mm,
It is their profession. And in that profession, there's something called confidentiality.
okay.
So if you go to that person, despite the fact they are part of a group, and
Mm,
you go to that person and say, "Hey, I need to talk to you on a professional level."
mm,
As soon as you start the discussion on a professional level, they know that they cannot break that breach of confidentiality.
okay.
They cannot.
Okay.
So if it starts like that in a group, right, and you talk to that person, they try to leverage all the different help you can get, show you all the different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment you come in that group
Mm,
and you hear whatever you discuss with that particular individual,
okay.
right? that person could lose their license
Okay.
because they have already breached the confidentiality. They have breached it already,
Okay.
so they could lose their license. So we
Okay.
need to start like this is a right platform that we need to start talking about it and think. And like my brother said, I give you an example. He said, "When somebody died, right? Like you have stuff that's eating you up and you're not saying it out, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a weight on you and it's stressful. So
Mm-hmm.
mental health also has impact on our physical health.
Yeah.
So physically, it will drain you down. You might look good inside, outside, your appearance, you wear the clothes, you walking out, you're looking good. But physically, you're not good because
Mm-hmm.
when you're stressed, stress leads to high blood pressure, hypertension here
Yeah.
and there. And there in our community, in our African setting, there's a lot of us who have hypertension and don't know. We do not know
So
because I mean,
yeah.
I'm being serious,
No,
bro.
yeah, yeah,
We don't even know that we have high blood pressure. How
yeah.
often do we go to hospital to check ourselves? We don't know. So
Mhm.
you having things that been bothering you and you still holding it on, you trying to be strong, it's eating you up inside.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
causing some other health issues for you.
Okay.
So the better you start to talk about things, the better you start to seek help, the better it is for us in our society.
Mhm. Okay. Peterson, what it is then? How can organizations, as we've been talking here tonight, right? Organization in our community, or even the churches, how can they create safe spaces, right? That maybe like if I don't have a therapist in my group, right, but I can talk to someone that how can organization create safe spaces where we can share these things, we can talk about it among ourselves. What do they need to do?
Yeah, so not having a professional within a group. I mean, with the thing of mental health or health issues, before people usually seek professional help, they'll usually go to like the church or go to
Mhm.
like the
Yeah.
pastor.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
it's
Hmm.
like what Mel said earlier about
Hmm.
having trust issue, especially among our immigrant population. And
Hmm.
we've discussed this before, where we are so secretive when it comes to certain issues, almost every issue of our life. We do not like to divulge any information or anything detail about ourselves.
Hmm.
But in order to encourage people to say, okay, this is a safe space, like we do on this show, whatever, we're not giving out names, we're not talking about specific people. Uh, you create a safe space so that when people come, they can feel safe. That's what a safe space is, to say,
Hmm.
okay, I can
Hmm.
lay out what is going on with me, and nobody's going to judge me. They're not going to look at me and say, oh, maybe you did this. This is why it's happening to you. So we need to create that, and not only within the religious setting, but also in the community setting. We need to let go of this backstabbing or giving what did they say, like rumors, or
Hmm.
I tell you something, then you go, you embellish it, you add your own to it, and then you tell the next person, and then they, by the time it gets back to the person who's said it, like, what? Like, that's not what I said, but it all comes to the trust issue, and even having a professional within a group or within
Hmm.
an organization. This is
Hmm.
why many of us do not even go to those professionals, even if we know there is a professional, because we look at them like, okay, this is my friend or this is somebody that is within this group, so
Yeah.
I don't think I trust them enough to give him that information, even if it's on a professional level. But
Hmm.
need to think about it. If it's something that is really bothering you, this is where when you go to just a regular checkup in a hospital or to a
Hmm.
doctor, they're
Hmm.
asking you some mental health questions without you even knowing it. They're trying to
Yeah.
your current state of mind so that they
Yeah.
can be able to either refer you to a mental health professional or something. Because many times when you go, they'll say, "Oh, arrive 15 minutes early," and that long paper where they gave you, many
Yeah.
times, "Oh, in the past 7 days, have you thought of harming yourself? Have you been depressed? Have you?" Those are all mental health questions
Yeah.
they're asking you.
Okay.
They're trying to assess so that you can say, "Oh, okay, maybe we need to refer this person. If you are not expressing it, willing it to somebody, or that's not what you came in for. They're trying to see what else is going on with you. So we need to have that safe space and encourage for people to be vulnerable and be able to talk, and then we can help you to go further.
Okay. Well, tonight, folks, we are discussing mental health, wellness, and normalizing seeking help without shame. Well, in like, if something's wrong with you, if you are going through some struggles that you don't feel right, it is okay to seek help. It is okay to seek help. I mean, as my brother Stanford said earlier, when you say mental health, the man say you must change your nomenclature because that crazy man thing, yeah, the man use people, the man say change your nomenclature because that crazy man thing. But maybe that's one way we can normalize the conversation, right? That people don't have to be shamed. But Titus, so folks, you can contribute to the conversation, right? If you know anyone who's going through it, there's a lot of help, a lot of resources out there. And call our number tonight, 817-600-1525, and contribute to this conversation because this conversation is very, very important to our community. And I'm glad like tonight it's all the men holding it down, talking about it, especially Black men, Black History Month, Black immigrant men talking about such an important conversation. But Titus, what it is that someone can do, right? Like small step, right? Like so if they're experiencing something to seek help, what are some of the things they can do? Like what are that small step? Is it no matter what, right? Uh a journey of 1,000 miles sometimes start with a small step. What can one
Yeah,
do, right? If you're
yeah.
experiencing something to seek help.
Talk about it. Talk
Mm,
about it with the folks uh, that you trust. That's just the first way I believe to deal with this.
mm,
You have to talk about it. Talk about it with folks closest to you, um, folks that you can confide in. You got to get it off your chest. You
mhm,
know, Stanford mentioned something so important
mhm,
about the hypertension that a lot of us are walking around here with, uh, and we don't even know.
mm,
And tomorrow you wake up and on your timeline, a young man that you just saw the other day was very healthy.
yeah,
He's gone. You
yeah,
don't know. It
mhm,
could be from anything, you know. But
mhm,
we have to talk, man. Whether you're a man or a woman, a child or an elder,
mhm,
you have to talk. You know. I think another way. Somebody taught me this strategy a long time ago.
mhm,
Write things down. If you could do diaries, you have your diary, your life, your days, write them down. If sometimes it's something about writing that is so therapeutic. Um, Even if you want to say some, vile words to people, write them down, tear it up, burn it up. If you want to go off on somebody, and you're just trying to manage
mhm,
your your anger. That's a good technique for those who see themselves getting angry easily. Write them
mhm.
down. Write it
Okay.
down. Tear it up. Delete the message.
Mhm.
But it has to come out, man. It has to
Yeah.
come out of the system
Okay.
because hey, whatever that's happening there will eventually display on your outside. So
Mhm.
those are just little steps.
Sure.
Music, use
Yeah.
music, go for
Yeah.
long rides, use music, workout. Stanford will tell you more about the workout. He's a gym rat. Um,
Okay.
yeah, those are little steps, man.
Okay. Mel, what can society do? And I mean, obviously, like we celebrating Black History Month, even though that topic when you talk about that kind of thing, you say they canceling DEI. So I don't even know whether we still have Black History Month, but hey, that's another topic for another day.
What are you talking about?
But as we are in Black History Month, um, what can society do, right? And we're all Black men on here tonight. What can society do to support Black men when it comes to mental health? Because like we feel this pressure to be tough, as you guys said earlier, not to show weakness. But what can society do to support Black men in
I
terms of
think
mental health?
I think society can play more emphasis on this specific topic we're talking about. Put out information out there, and set up, ways that people can seek, get to understand where they are, what's going on with them, right?
Mhm.
And these things should be like, Stanford said, confidential. Um, Set these things up so people can feel, welcome to it, and deal with it individually. And I think society is kind of, it start with this small unit of family, and an individual has experiencing this thing within a family, bringing them to that place for them to be able to understand what's going on with them can help kind of resolve these things we are going through. The more information we provide, the more resources we provide to our people, especially like we keep saying here, uh, people that have immigrated here from different cultures don't understand these things. But
Mhm.
providing that platform for people to be welcome and talk about these things, like Tactor mentioned, having conversations and having a community that you can trust, right? Go a very long way. So society can just try their best to. We're starting the year right now. We're talking about these things. We're talking about it. We don't know a lot. We're not expert on mental issues, but things we kind of seen over time. We're bringing these things and people listening to it. These are the little ways we can kind of help, and then it go bigger way if a community start doing it right. Then go larger with the society as a whole, putting our information out there. It start with our community, Liberian community. What can we do to help people that are going through mental health? We have an organization here, right? Set up a means. You have bunch of professionals within our community who are physical therapists who can kind of help resolve these things and navigate through them to see how best they can get resolution. Set up a branch that can help people go to those places and seek the help they need. So the lack of information is contributing tremendously towards just a lot of these things happening and affecting people over time.
Yeah.
I would say
You.
something before I kind of wrap up.
Yeah.
Liberians
Okay.
as a whole, Liberians as a whole, we basically, I would say a lot of us have mental health issues. It's not because we want to. It's because of things we've gone through over time. You left your
Facts.
country during the Civil War. There were a lot of things that happened. That trauma,
Mm.
the
Mm.
experiences we've had, and we haven't dealt with these things. Think about this. If go to Liberia right now and see things the way people behave, it's not okay. There
Mm.
got to be some type of rehabilitation, some type of thing done to bring those people to the areas that they will kind of understand, oh, this is not normal, this is how it is. And we don't have those things within our community, which is why you see a lot of us come here. Every little thing tickles us. We
Mm.
have that misplaced aggression. Somebody
Mm.
tells you something different that is not in alignment with what should make you mad
Yeah.
because of what you had. You basically use that, and,
Mm.
and, and it come in. So you have
Mm.
misplaced aggression happening a lot. You'll be having
Mm.
conversation with somebody here with something that they shouldn't even be getting mad all about. They get mad and take it to the next level. And you're sitting there like, what did I just do to this person? It's
Mm.
not normal. These are the mental health signs that are playing out in front of us here like that. And a lot of our brothers and sisters back home experiencing those. A lot of us out here moved here with that within us, and it has not been healed. So
So are
setting
you
up.
go ahead. So are you saying all these folks that be appearing on Shadow Our show and Provoking they got the experience they experiencing similar thing like that?
Oh,
Hey,
you're gonna say
hey,
it with
hey,
the
what I'm
names
Yeah,
going,
again.
because
you're bad, man. Yeah, man, they're not going that route. You're
Les
bad.
melatonin, les melatonin concord with you
But
on
what
that
I'm
one. Les
trying to say
melatonin
here
need.
is,
My own.
what I'm trying to say here is, if
is
I'm not going to go to any
My
platform, right?
own.
I
Mm.
kind of
that's fair
respect where
enough,
they're
fair
coming from,
enough, fair
and
enough,
that's what they
fair enough.
focus on. But what I'm trying to
Mm.
say here is on a serious note, my brother, right?
Mm.
Watch
Mm.
the way we react to things, right? Of war-torn country.
Mm.
Watch the way we kind of, you know, have conversations. Sit
Mm.
among a bunch of us, African men or Liberian men. We talk
Mm.
about sports. I don't have to yell at you for me to put my point through. No, me
Okay.
honest with you, brother. But when
Yeah.
we're having
No,
a
that's
conversation,
reality.
we're talking
That's
about
true.
we're talking about
Mm.
soccer.
Even the
Mm.
you
politics.
you will kind of, yeah, you kind of feel like, what is going on with these guys? Are they fussing? There was one point in time when I was working in a manufacturing area. This is kind of joke. And
Yeah.
then they got, I was a supervisor then. The guys were talking. Then the guy came to me and said, Melvin, why are you sitting here, bunch of Liberian? Why are you sitting here? The guys doing that over there. What are they doing? So I said, just let that slide. They're having conversation. He said, no, it doesn't seem like that. I said, I think you guys are actually having conversation. And then I went to the
Yeah, are they
quiet down. And
fighting?
it is happening a lot, Ed. It happening a
Yeah.
lot. I'm gonna say that here,
Okay.
so now I do that, right?
Okay.
Unknowingly.
Yeah. Okay.
But these
Mm.
things happen because of things that have happened over time that put us in that position, but we haven't realized it and trying and not find a solution to it. So it play
Yeah.
out in every little thing we do.
Yeah. And then I used to have a overall boss who says that one of the things, I'm a very successful guy, a VP of finance, very and working for a great company. He says that when he does, like, once a month he seeks counseling. Not that because he has a mental problem, but he just go to a counselor and talk, right? He just go there and talk, right? It's like, as you guys been seeing here, just talk things out, and it's really really helps. It really really help him out. But anyways, just want to throw that out there to your point. Sometimes, like, you don't have to be diagnosed or maybe experiencing something. Sometimes maybe you just want to get things, as Tyler said earlier, off your chest. But Stanford, coming back to your billboard that you use, your nomenclature thing. How can we maybe like change your name or reframe that, right? Maybe for people to get comfortable with it, because as you said earlier, when you say mental health in our Liberian setting, or sometimes even in Africa, they say you crazy, man. But how
Prison
can we
man.
reframe that, right? Is that maybe how can we reframe that in our community? You gotta say like maybe they having mental health. Maybe, yeah, as I mentioned my common boss there earlier, it might be okay just to maybe go see someone and talk, go see a professional and talk things out. But how can we change our nomenclature to make things comfortable for people?
Well, let me say this, like my brother said, that we're not professionals on here, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
just our little piece, we giving out
Yeah,
here.
our
But
life experience,
yeah,
which is actually good. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. But the thing is, it's not just the name, because in our setting, when you say mental, you see, when we're talking to people, think you're crazy. But
Mm-hmm.
your mental health, when you talk about mental health issues, it's your day-to-day activities, your day-to-day lifestyle, how you cope with stress, how
Mm-hmm.
you cope with financial situations. Some people will be having financial issues, and like they don't know how to go about it, and it's weighing down on them. But the more you talk about it, like you will have financial issue, and you take, for example, I'm gonna give you a common example, right? Here in the military, I have a soldier, right,
Mm-hmm.
who had issues with his finances, but being that he think that he's the man, don't want to talk about it again, like swallow it up, right? And his car got repossessed,
Mm-hmm.
and he was almost evicted from his apartment. And somebody told me about it, and I called him. I'm like, look, why? What's going on? Why are you not talking about it? He's like, oh, I mean, I've been going through this. I'm like, look, listen, here you go. I took his hand and I took him somewhere. Yeah, you can get financial help from this. It's free. They help you with this when you have financial hardship. This is this. They help you with this. You do this. And I walk him through some different places, right? That he seek help, right? I walk him through some places, and then later I told him, like, look, you need to go to behavioral health. You need to go get behavioral health counseling. He's like, no, I don't want to go there. I'm like, you need to, because the fact is that you already out of this situation now, but it's still gonna impact you tomorrow. It's still weighing on you right now,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sorry, because you every time you think about it, every time you try to see yourself going in a place where your finances is going low, it's gonna weigh down on you. And as it weighs down on you, you're gonna probably get some health issues again, pressure, stroke, hyper,
Mm-hmm.
all this stuff is gonna come out. So it's not just about the name, it's about how we carry out the awareness. And this is the point right now we're doing the awareness right now by talking about it. Like some of the simple things, like, bro, it's as simple as just just showing gratitude. That's the first thing. As simple as just showing gratitude. Just trying being positive, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like affiliating with people. Because when people are depressed and they go through issues, they tend to isolate themselves. They tend to stay by themselves. So being around people, it helps because you might be around somebody and somebody might discuss their situation, which is kind of relevant to what you're going through,
Yeah.
and it might loosen you up a little bit and be like, oh, okay, I think mine is a little better. I can do this now. I
Okay.
can do that. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's just a process. It's not an event. It's a process,
Okay.
and the process starts with talking about it.
Okay.
Most people don't like to talk about things, bro.
Yeah.
Most people don't like to talk about things in our settings, but the
Okay.
more you talk about it in your family, there's one person that you trust. In your
Mm.
entire family, it's just one person that you trust
Yeah.
that you can talk to. I got somebody in my family I talk to.
Yeah.
I talk about myself, right? I got somebody, and I'll be mad throughout the day. And that's my sister. I call her. She don't judge. She just listen. And
Okay.
sometimes you just need somebody to vent, to
Mm.
say things out to, and then
Mm.
it calms you down a little bit. Then you know, like, okay, yeah, maybe what I said during this time or what I did. Then you have that time to like leverage yourself. Like, okay, this is this is gonna, if I continue doing this, this is gonna lead me somewhere that I don't want to go. So then
Okay.
you start finding with, but it's just about talking about it. Find
Okay.
a safe space to talk about it.
Okay. Um, folks, tonight we are discussing mental health, wellness, and normalizing seeking help with Ashim. It is okay to talk about it. It is okay to seek help. Whatever you are going through, don't get to the point of, trying to harm yourself or do anything to yourself, but it is okay to seek help. So if you want to contribute to this conversation, you can put a comment in the chat. Or you can call our number 817-600-1525. We don't want to keep these guys here all night, so we'll probably drag it for the next 10 minutes and try to wrap it up here. Great conversation, of course. This is our life experience. We are not, these guys are not professional by any means, but obviously, being Black History Month and having Black men on here discussing such a thing, creating awareness for our community, I think is very, very important. Peterson, though, I think I hear on NPR or somewhere like loneliness is a huge challenge right now in this country, right? Well developed country. I mean, some people, it's like, to stand for point, sometimes a lot of people don't have anyone to talk with. They're just working, working, working. I mean, how can we, it's like some people sometimes, and especially in our community, got people working triple, double, working 60 hour, no time even for themselves. But how can we, especially in our community, how can we tackle loneliness, right? To make sure like folks don't be by themselves, right? Find a community. And we have a lot of community in our community, but a lot of folks sometimes just not, are not part of it. So me, I don't want to be part of like burn people. I just want to be by myself. You know.
Yeah, so with the issue of loneliness, I mean, even being in part of a group or being part of a organization, you can still be lonely because
Mm,
if you do not have that one person or group of people that you
yeah.
relate to or who
Mm,
you can feel safe enough to say, oh, okay, even though I'm part of this group, I can open
mhm,
up to these people. You
mhm,
still feel that loneliness. And it's not all about working triples and doubles and stuff
yeah.
like that, but trying to find that one person, like Stanford said, there are people that you know, and then there's somebody that you know among those people that you would trust. You would
Mm,
trust with everything to say, okay, this is the one person that I can talk to, I can discuss, I can have an intimate conversation with, and I will not hear it out there tomorrow. And this is when it comes to mental health, is that stigmatization that we talked about earlier.
mhm,
That's why a lot of people do not want to express it. They do not want to become vulnerable with people because they have that fear, like, oh, I mean, if I say something to somebody, they might say, "Oh, I'm crazy." And like Mel said earlier, statistics show that almost everybody we all have some type of behavior issues, but
yeah.
other people
True.
because they is more out there and we see like the physical signs of it or the way they express it outwardly, we see
Okay.
it and we say, oh, this person. But that label, and when we first came to the States, when you hear about, oh, people with developmental disabilities, and the very first word that comes out, oh, you mean the R word or the the crazy word, and then uh, for society to help people to kind of say, okay, let's minimize this, what people are saying, the name or the way it's labeled. Let's try to change that, because when I was growing up in high school and stuff, the when they have mental health, we have, oh, this person is I don't want to say the word because
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, this person is like this or they're like that. But then that stigma is still around, that even if you say mental health, people still think like, oh, that means the person is crazy. And if that's the case, then like I said, 100% of us, we have some type of crazy in us, but
Okay.
it's just the way of handling the issue. And especially for men and black men,
Mhm.
we make up, let's say, 50% of the population, but because of the way when we spoke earlier about our orientation and where we come from, although mental health is in our society, but women, they tend to have a better grasp of their emotions. So when it comes to the expression of, oh, okay, people taking their own lives or suicide, it's more among men than
Mm.
women.
Okay.
Although there are more women in the world as we know it, but
Sure.
the rate is higher among men because we do not have a way of safely expressing our emotions.
Okay. Okay. Well, folks, tonight we are discussing mental health wellness and normalizing seeking help without shame. That is something we really, really need to do in our community, in the Black community, in the immigrant community, especially during these times, right? Titles, though, I would just, ask the questions, maybe one last question to you guys, and then we'll try to wrap this up. With everything going on right now in the immigrant community, do you think that is, you know, um, causing, some kind of attention that potentially might, create mental health?
Oh, absolutely, man. There's a lot of increase right now in anxiety. You know how the communities are upside down. You know,
Mm,
everybody, people are panicking. Even folks who are documented,
yeah.
you
Okay.
know, folks like immigrants who are citizens are
Yeah.
panicking because hey, this is not a perfect system we're in.
Okay.
There's error in the system.
Mm,
This system with ICE is not error proof.
mm,
More especially, there are humans who are enforcing these systems, right? So anything can happen at any time, you know. So that anxiety that's been caused within these communities, folks are stressed. It's stressful.
okay.
It's very stressful, and yeah, that's part of mental health. How are these people managing their anxiety? How are they managing their stress?
Hmm.
What are some coping mechanisms? Look,
Yeah.
it's a stressful time right now, especially for the immigrant community.
Hmm.
I won't be surprised if you did stats on a sample size,
Sure.
how that number has tremendously increased right now with
Okay.
mental health, loneliness that we're talking about. Folks are probably getting depressed now, just considering everything that's going around immigration. And this is
Mm,
why in the past events here, we've been trying to talk to authority from the city, right, from our
yeah.
state,
Yeah.
talking to the police chief. How can you maneuver these different situations, these stress? How can you ensure security
Mm,
and try to calm this sense of panic in our community, right? So
hmm.
I mean, these conversations were really helpful as well because I bet you folks who were able to watch or listen to those conversations will have some sense of calmness. Like, okay, I know it's tough times, but these are things that I can do to also secure myself, or things might not go haywire as I envision it to be. So
Yeah.
yeah, these are stressful times.
Yeah. Now, obviously, and to calm some of those anxieties among our people, we have an immigration lawyer coming here next week, Tuesday.
Beautiful.
She's a state representative, and she's a pro bono lawyer. She provides a lot of services in the community. So that she's going to be here next week, Tuesday, for us to, continue such a conversation. But I just thought ask that. But guys, as we wrap this up, Mel, what message you want to leave with, someone out there listening to us who are, maybe who going through some issues, but afraid to share it, afraid to let it out, afraid to talk about it. What message you want to leave with them tonight?
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, AB. Thank you, Stanford. I think this conversation has been meaningful, and you guys have contributed hugely tonight. What I would say to that is to the question you just asked, those listening and you know trying to figure it out and thinking about how they can seek stuff. I would say this to you, right? There's benefit in seeking help, according to the study, right? 60 some more percent of people that were experiencing mental health. I mean, this is from Stanford University. 60 some more of them had improved significantly with their overall quality of life. So
Mm,
think about that, right? Seeking help is very as important as you try to figure out yourself. So try to seek help. And these are people, some more percent I'm talking about, these are people that have experienced mental health, that
mhm,
mental health issues that were at the verge of just doing something to themselves. So seek help, ask questions, have conversations, create an environment
mhm,
that you can kind of communicate things that are affecting you negatively in terms of creating that mental health we talk about here. Talk to individuals that will help you, people that you can trust. There got to
mhm.
be somebody you trust within your inner circle amongst your family, right? Talk
Yeah.
to that person about things that are impacting them. May not know how to help you, but they will figure out a way to help you. And
Okay.
also be open to have open conversation. One thing I'll end with, if talking about things that are affecting you, I realized that it's very helpful. If I talk
Okay.
to somebody about something that affected me negatively to someone and be like, this have really got to me, just putting that out there, it releases a lot of stress. So
Mm,
people don't keep on holding on pains. We've seen how pressure killing young people. A lot of us have pressure. Is the result of trying to withhold
mm.
information, withhold things that are impacting you negatively. So try to seek help. I will end with that tonight. Thank you,
Okay.
everybody.
Yeah. Stanford, you being in the military and stuff like that, how, like, especially that we are military bodies, you got a lot of our young kids, these days, right? Among in the immigrant community, once they done with high school, they want to go to the military, and it can be a tough environment. I mean, what message do you have for folks out there who listening to us, who might watch your show, and so, what message you want to leave with them tonight, especially those in that environment who might be experiencing mental health issues or situations, but I mean, they don't want to talk about it. They're ashamed.
Well, thank you all guys for being on this platform. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for us discussing it. And I look forward to like having more discussion with you guys. And
Mm,
again, like I said, what you guys have started, this is way different from our regular normal Liberian stuff. So
mm,
that's why I'm like kind of okay in being here.
mm,
My message out there is like they're young, like you said, they're young people, young kids coming out of high school and wanting to join the military, and with all the stuff that's going on within the military, I'll tell you there are a lot of resources, and it's free.
mm,
It is free. Like we're discussing about seeking professional help on the outside of the military for you to have a therapy. It's kind of costly. That's some of the thing too. Some people will not want to even go there. But
mm,
younger kids in the military come thinking about joining the military. It can be the army, it can be the air force. They have resources available for everything. But again, people don't utilize the resources.
mm,
And one of the issues is knowledge, the lack of
mm,
knowledge. If you
mm.
don't know, you cannot do anything.
Yeah.
But the more you talk about things, the more you talk about it, the more people will lead you into the right direction. I
Mm,
tell my soldiers every day, they ask me, hey, I got a question for you. I'm like, well, hopefully I have an answer. If I don't, I'll try to lead you in a way that you can get an answer. I might
okay.
not know everything, but at least I might know somewhere that I can take you to that you can get the answer that you need.
Okay.
So the help is out there, you know. Seek the help. If they want to join the army, the military, the army, the air force, you can come in. And if you think you have any problems, like there are people who have drinking problems, they're
Yeah.
in the military, but they have resources, they have medical resources, medical facilities that when they figure out like you have a drinking problem, like I said from the beginning, right? First thing is to identify the problem, then
Yeah.
you can seek help.
Yeah.
So if you know you have drinking problem, that you've identified that you have drinking problem and you want to seek help, help is there. They
Okay.
are going to give you help, you
Okay.
know. So there's a lot that's there. So our community, our young people out there, like they shouldn't watch what's happening on social media platform here and there, you know, and just getting hitched to where they are. They go out there, seek help, talk to people. For me, before I close, I'm gonna give you one example. If I'm going through something and I want to talk about it, I use it in a way that it's not me.
Mm.
I talk
Okay.
to somebody like, hey, I got a buddy who's going through XYZW, you know,
Yeah.
and he talked to me about it and I don't know what to do, you know, how to help him. That's how I bring my stuff out. And
Mm.
somebody will be there to tell you, oh, you know, I know this person was going through XYZ and they went somewhere else and they seek help.
Okay.
Right there and then I already know where I want to go,
Okay.
you know. So you got to find a way to bring it out among people and talk about it, just finding that safe space to bring it out.
Okay.
And again, gentlemen, I thank you all for this great opportunity.
Okay. Okay. Well, Peterson, as we wrap up here tonight, what is your parting message to our great audience out there who listen to us every night, bringing in great, great conversation?
Yeah, to the audience and everybody who tune in, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for a great discussion. For mine, parting message, I want to say it's like what Stanford just said. Even if somebody is vulnerable enough to come to you and express whatever they are going through, if you kind of recommend for that person to seek professional help and they may be afraid to, you can go on their behalf. It's not like you going to seek for yourself. And it's like what he said, go and just change the situation around. Like, oh, somebody told me this, that they are going through this. How can I help the person? And they are now willing to come and get professional help. And like you said, getting professional counseling in certain situations is expensive. So
Mm.
one of the reasons why people like, okay, why am I going to go talk to a therapist or a counselor if it's going to cost me such and such? But there are always affordable resources out there that if they are not free, they are affordable. And
Hmm.
the good thing about being in this country, I tell people, I'm like, nobody's going to put you in jail for a medical bill. If even you can have $1 million medical bill,
True.
more you can pay, they will allow you to pay that. Nobody's going to come after you. So go ahead, put the financial aspect of it aside and seek that help that you need. And we all need some type of help. So go ahead and seek that help.
Okay. Um, Titus, as we wrap up tonight, what message do you want to leave with our audience?
Guys, I'm so thankful for this conversation tonight. Thank you all, and thanks to our audience. I know, even though sometimes folks might not be present while we're online, while we're live, but there are a lot of folks that reach out. They've been following the show, they've been watching, they have input. They want to contribute. So thank you all for having us in this space. It's because of you we're here, and we'll continue to be here. But yeah, just continue to speak up. These different groups that would, and something that Stanford and Peterson talked about. It continue to stress on about the resources, right?
Mm-hmm,
And
mm-hmm,
the finance kind of financial burden that's attached to it.
mm-hmm.
These various community groups should continue to provide resources, right, to folks, affordable resources, because everybody's thinking about what is it gonna cost. First, you're thinking about your time, then now you're thinking about the money,
Yeah.
you know, and what's gonna come out of it. So those are hindrances sometimes, for folks to just get out there and talk to people.
Mhm.
So I think community groups, these different advocacy groups, we need to continue to make these resources available, make them present, so
Mhm.
that people can go after them. Also, in the society, there are different areas that bring a lot of stress on men, like systemic conditions that are created that bring stress.
Okay.
I think as a community and in these various groups as well, we could advocate, for some of those things to be improved in
Sure.
our community for families. These are all different ways
Mm.
um, to continue to improve this situation about mental health. And let's also continue to highlight the strength,
Mm.
the
Yeah.
strength in seeking help. And and maybe we can work on the nomenclature, like Stanford said. We can
Okay.
change we can
Okay.
change the nomenclature about mental health,
Mhm.
focus more on the strength, the resilience that comes out of seeking those different forms of help. But
Okay.
it was a great conversation tonight. I really enjoyed Mel, Stan, Ed, Peterson. Thanks, guys. Great
Okay.
conversation.
Well, folks, tonight that concludes the end of our show. But before we go, tomorrow, this week is Valentine week. Tomorrow we're gonna be back here. It's our business segment, but we're gonna stick to love a little bit again. Some people will be taking Juden out on Chamone out on Friday.
You
So
think
want to
mental
know like
health will increase or decrease
where
during this?
now we're gonna
It
be
will increase,
discussing.
oh, it will
We're
increase.
gonna be
How about
discussing
increase? After
we're gonna be
Valentine's Day, mental health will
discussing
increase.
depth and dating.
Oh,
Depth and dating is like, before you take her on a date or before you guys go on a date, should you find out what's your financial situation or should you find out your financial situation? So come on the show tomorrow. It's gonna be
oh,
good. It's gonna be loaded. Depth and
Oh,
dating.
wow.
Yeah, depth
wow.
and dating tomorrow. That's the topic. And then, this conversation that we had tonight, we're gonna continue it on Thursday and we'll have a special guest. So folks, thank you so much for joining us. Uh
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Peace, bro.
follow our Facebook page. Go on YouTube and subscribe. Go on Twitter and follow us. Go on LinkedIn and follow us. Go on Apple Podcasts and download our podcast.
In a
Go on
circle,
Spotify, man.
where hearts
Inner Cycle
unite,
Podcast. It is the community show, right?
sharing our
As
truths,
Stanford said, it
bringing
is the only
hope to
place
the
where it
light.
will discuss issue that is
Community
contributing
strong,
to
we're
growth in the
never
immigrant community.
alone.
We don't
Together as
be
one, we've
discussing African
created
politics
a
or
home.
man woman
So
business
join
like
the
Shadow
conversation
Ramadan,
and
like
set
Prophet
the
Kiden. We don't do all of that.
You buy can
We
call new,
discuss
you
pure,
can call new.
discuss pure issues, But
We
folks,
listen, we
good
don't
night.
judge.
Talk
Yes,
to
We
you
guys,
never make it
man.
come
tomorrow.
with you, you'll miss
Tomorrow,
it.
and see you guys tomorrow. Good night, folks.
Amen.
All right, bro. Good night.
join the
Bye,
conversation and
guys.
set